My husband and I have been together for 15 years. He's the epitome of the saying, he's a good man, Savannah. However, I've always known that he was in 2 other relationships, one with his mom and the other his career. He prioritizes and considers them without question, while I've proven my position and still feel like I'm in second place most times. How can I get him to always treat me like I'm number one without taking away from his other loves?
I think you got to be careful. The mama angle, I 100% agree. But in terms of a man's purpose comes first, baby. And the worst place that you can be is between a man and his purpose. A lot of women lose sight of what brought you to that man in the first place. A lot of women aspire for a lot of things, right? I want a successful man. I want a certain lifestyle. But a lot of women are not willing to sacrifice the time that it takes for that man to create that environment for you.
Kitty, why you keep making these faces?
I don't want to make this a gender thing because I don't want no one to use this against nobody. But women, we show up as friends, as mothers, as wives, as everything else. We show up and we still serve our husbands, but marriage is still a part of your purpose. Let's not forget that when you have a wife, that's where your favor comes from to begin with. So even in the purpose that you have with this business and everything else, you should still be able to prioritize your wife. Your wife is not a threat to your purpose. The problem is you have not been able to find balance in what you do. You've prioritized and tried to compartmentalize things, bring it together. Your wife can advance the things that you have. Prioritize your wife, because then she can nurture and feed you and pour and invest into you so you can show up better in your life, so you can show up better in your business. I don't understand this conversation. I don't get that. And that's the reason why so many women feel like they are being neglected in their marriages, because y'all prioritize your careers. You laid down and made vows in front of God and said you were going to take care of his daughter. So if that is the case, then make sure you take care of your wife while you are still doing this, because I guarantee you when you no longer have that career, guess who's still going to be behind you? Guess who's still going to be behind you?
This is crazy.
Going to be behind you. Nope. We still going to be behind them. Nope. Y'all always want to play that. Y'all always want to play that. And I hate when y'all do that, because I can guarantee you, y'all always want to do that, because we have seen women do it. We have seen, I don't care. No, I ain't gaslighting nothing. That's the problem. I can't stand when y'all do that. I cannot stand that. Y'all are talking about those women who just came in there to use you to begin with. But the women who actually love you, if they see you fall off, it's those women they gonna fight behind you to make sure that you get back on your feet. So make sure that you nurture your wife.
These young ladies are asking our sons for money. And as a boy mom, they used to really grind my gears, because this little girl sent my son $100 Temu request. First of all, I didn't even know you could do that. Thank you. Also, terrible discernment, bad management. My son not even dropping the fries, and he doesn't have a license. He was 15 years old, girl. Now you, I feel like you asking me for money, because where he going to get it from? He ain't selling no drugs, is he? Have you seen Malcolm X, young lady? Huh? Have you? Do you know what happens to you when you put your hands in somebody else's pocket? These young.
So listen, are you surprised by this? Are you surprised? Check it out right there. The caption says boy mom problems. Boy mom problems in a modern world in 2026, just the beginning of the year. So what's happening in 2026? Well, I think a comment said it best when they said they're being programmed. This one right here. She says they're being programmed. By who? By TikTok. Of course they're seeing the messages, right? The messages of women encouraging other women, and also the young women, because they forget the young ones are also online, encouraging them to ask men for money. And this is something I actually think about a lot when I make this type of videos. I know on the other end of the screen, it's not just men like myself who see those type of videos, but it's also younger boys who are like, okay, so I need to get money and I don't have any. And the younger girls are thinking, well, why don't I ask the boys who like me for money? Because that's what these other women are saying I should do. They're not saying, don't have kids outside of wedlock. Maybe that's becoming more of a popular thing now. For a long time, that wasn't the focus, right? It wasn't about responsibility, doing better. And yes, the boys need these type of messages too. But of course, they're learning this from TikTok. You want a society where young women believe that the most important thing a man can provide for you is money, then you want to be surprised when all of a sudden a Diddy pops in, who has all the money and now believes now that he's won the game and acquired all the success, all the power, he now can have his way. This is one of the points I made during the whole Diddy situation. I believe Diddy is a sick man. I've said this plenty of times. I don't take it back. I believe he is. However, I also think that society encourages those type of men to pretty much know that once they get to where he's at or where he was at or that level of success, then there are women out here who do whatever he wants them to.
If you could get rid of men, snap your finger, would you do it?
I think I would have to sacrifice a big and I think I would do it if I was capable. Because the world would be a better place.
The world would be a better place if all men disappeared.
Men commit the payoff, no violent
no
crimes. If we wipe out 90% of crimes, there's only 10 left.
I genuinely think if you just disappear all men instantly without any preparation, I think like within 2 weeks, 50% of women are. You have to assume if you get rid of all men, because all men are way disproportionately the ones responsible for overseeing infrastructure, you get rid of all men.
He's woke. Confirmed.
What does that have to do with woke?
Men are in charge of like all of the infrastructure.
Telecoms, truck drivers, waste management, all men disappear on multiple levels that you couldn't even comprehend. There would be cascading infrastructure fuckery. The food supply, gone. Fires are going to break out within a couple days. There's no firemen to put them out.
There's fire women that already have jobs.
In my own personal experience, the difference in the male attention that I receive when my hair is straightened versus when it's naturally curly is astronomical. I receive much more male attention when my hair is straightened rather than when it is naturally curly. Why that is, I can just only assume that men are wired to find women with straight hair more attractive. Women can fully grasp and understand how rare it is to have naturally curly hair and the beauty of this rare physical quality. And I don't think men think that deeply, unfortunately. At the end of the day, it just really matters what you place your value and worth in. And if it's not stupid little boys that can't see the depth in anything, then you're on the right track. So.
This is such a good example of how a woman will get mad at men for having preferences that do not match her. Of course, every man has different preferences. Some men are gonna love curly hair. Other men are going to love straight hair. Many men just don't care. Or maybe they kind of like the variety, like they like to see you both ways. But instead, you're mad at men in general, or at least the men that you're interested, that you want to like you. You're mad at them for having preferences that are different than your physical traits. So then you insult them and you shame them. You make it about their depth, like they just can't think that deeply. They can't see the beauty of curly hair. That is just taking it a little too far. And by the way, I will wear my hair both ways because my hair is actually naturally wavy. And what I have heard from my husband is that he feels like he can't touch my hair when it's curled. Like he doesn't know what to do with it. When it's straight, he feels like he can touch it. So I think that sort of plays in a little bit because it feels more approachable that he likes my straight hair a little bit more than my curly hair. For you guys that have made it this far, I'm going to put 3 comments down below and I want you to like the one that you agree with. Either you don't care, you like curly hair, or you like straight hair more. And then after a day, I'll make a follow-up video and let you guys know the results.
Women cry first and hardest, men cry later and longest. Women internalize and address, men distract and project. When a woman goes through a breakup, she does an entire rebrand of her entire life. She does a mood board, vision board, haircut, new job. She builds a life that she's deeply excited about. Now men, specifically avoidantly attached men, they actually feel relief in the beginning and they justify the breakup to avoid accountability and they don't actually reflect where they went wrong. Because you have to understand that from a young age, men are not taught to prioritize relationships the way women are. Men are taught to prioritize their career, status, and making money. And so that's what he does. He throws himself into distractions, his work, dating apps, and surface level flings, really anything to avoid sitting with himself. He doesn't prioritize building a vision for his future. And a man without a vision will always return to his past lovers, his past behaviors, and eventually someone easier, someone who won't require him to change and become the best version of himself. At the time, he's okay with that, but eventually he's finally left with his thoughts, and that is when he begins to mourn the loss of the relationship and the loss of you, because what he comes to realize is that replacing physical intimacy is very easy, but replacing emotional intimacy, specifically emotional intimacy that you have built over months, years, decades, you've gone through hardships with this person, that is much harder to replicate with another person.
You know, I think if we go back to the clip where, Kitty was talking about, you got to take care of your wife, you got to nurture your wife. The women that you're talking about because I think, they were talking about, hey, this is, you got to understand a man's purpose. That's always going to be first, right? And essentially what he's talking about that I don't think that Kitty understands, I think she understands it to a degree, but I don't think women fully understand the vision. Without the vision, you're not going to be here. And I mean, it just is what it is. But you still got to nurture her and you got to show her attention for sure. But some of these ladies, they want you to take a full day, like a full weekend. Oh, well, let's just go do this, and let's just hang out. And they don't understand every day that you're hanging out, you're not making money. So the lifestyle that you have and the thing, well, I can help you out, this, and this. And you're not actually helping out. I'm telling you, you're helping out in the way that if you do this for me, you're going to be helping out, right? This is how you can help me do these things. And a lot of times, and I do understand, men get caught up in their career and they don't spend any time with their woman or their wife. You can't do that. And so that's what she was talking about with the balance. You gotta have a little bit of balance there to, come home and, hey, let me see if I can take a few hours here and there, go back to work, and then, kind of burn the candle at both ends. If you appreciate that I have to work a little bit later now, and then, kind of help me out for, kind of coming in there and kicking it with you. It's not that I want to. You have to understand there's so much pressure on a man to provide. You know what I mean? And we're not even talking about living in like a rich, expensive house. But, modern women, a lot of these ladies, they look at a lot of stuff and they want a lot of stuff. And a lot of that stuff costs a little bit of money, right? Well, I don't need this. I don't need that. Okay, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't need it, but that's what you would really like. And men know, hey, I gotta do something. I gotta get her something. So I gotta make something shake. And don't have children, because if I have children, I gotta work. All of this, I just want to have fun. And modern women do that. You just vibe out. Oh, well, it'll come from somewhere. Not that, this and that. If I'm not working, it ain't coming from nowhere. That's the reality of it. And that's what men are locked into. That's what he was talking about. Well, the vision is the vision and the purpose is the purpose. I'm not trying to ignore you, but we just had a bad month and I got to make that up. The bills are still going to come. I got to do something. So that's where I think a lot of times they don't really understand. That's where men are coming from. I still got to work. I still got things to do in order to keep you where you are.
Look, can we stop pretending every man is a narcissist, manipulative, or toxic for just 1 minute? Can we stop pretending? Somewhere along the way, it became popular to talk about all the bad men, the cheaters, the liars, the manipulators, and those men absolutely exist. Don't get me wrong. But so do the men who stay, the men who work overtime so their family can eat, the men who sit in hospital waiting rooms all night, the men who raises children that aren't biologically theirs, the men who keep promises nobody sees, the men who get their hearts broken and still choose to love again. The truth is, bad men does exist, but good men do too. And the problem is, good men rarely make headlines because they're too busy being fathers, being husbands, being protectors, being providers. So if you got a good man in your life, sis, tell him. Because sometimes the men carrying the most weight hear the fewest thank yous.
She says you should feel safer with men around. IDK why women choose the bear. Goes for a bench press. Not gonna get it. Oh no, missed the lower set of hooks. Watch how long it takes for someone to help me get out of this failed bench press. Alright, sister, let's see it. She's doing pretty well. It's not touching her neck. She's strong enough to avoid that. Looks like the plates are not falling off. I guess she has the clips on the bar. If you want to fail a bench press, by the way, by yourself, don't put the clips on the bar. And she got out of it, though. Nice. So, not a massive deal. Was not in any major danger, it seemed like, which it could go bad. Guy walks by like nothing happened. It looks like by the time this guy walks by, you were out from underneath the bar and you had just set it back in the hooks. What did you want him to do? Come over and pat you on the shoulder and say, "Are you okay?" Then you'd say he's being an abrasive man who thinks women can't take care of themselves. Now let's read her caption. I don't post fails often, but this one was wild. One of the many reasons why I hate bench pressing. If you don't have a friend with you, you get ugly real fast. Watching that guy walk past was crazy though. According to this woman's profile, she is the lesbian community's favorite weightlifter and insecure straight men's worst nightmare. I like how you capitalized insecure straight men. Then this guy comments, no, this video is actually perfect. Going for a 1 rep max with no spotter, fails the lift and gets stuck, and guess whose fault it is? That's right, men. Who aren't even in the video. Woman puts herself in a dangerous position and blames imaginary men who aren't even there for it. And then someone says, meanwhile, she's dressing like a tough alpha biker man. Yeah, that's a common lesbian aesthetic.
So I'm leaving Target and I just had this thought like, wow, it's just so many beautiful, educated black women in Atlanta. Like, what the heck am I doing here? Like, the pickings are too wide. It's not enough men out here. Like, no wonder why I'm single, because there's literally so many women. They could have a different, these men or women, whatever you like. I like men. So these men could literally have a different bed, a different nice woman every day. Like a good girl. Like, which states are the men in? Where y'all at? Where? Black men, brown men, white men, blue men.
And that's why most women are alone. Most women are bouncing guy to guy because men can see through their selfishness. You know, your actions are who you are. You can say you are caring, you can say you're this soft-spoken woman, but your actions are you. So if all of your actions are tied to yourself and building your own empire, building some sort of ego-driven purpose, men see through that because, quite honestly, men do the things that they have to do. Not every single man has the luxury to drop everything and go follow their dreams. But women, they'll do that in a heartbeat. Women will do that in a freaking heartbeat.
I know of 2 men who got into a big disagreement on the phone. And these men are like brothers. Big disagreements on the phone. Certain boundaries were crossed. The intentions were pure. No one meant to cross boundaries, but boundaries were crossed. I promise you, within an hour, called up each other. They're like, bro, forget it. I love you. And what did I tell you? This could never happen with women. I promise you, women don't know how to let go of this. I wish it was possible for women to reconcile with such ease and just to facilitate life for each other. No, hath no fury like a woman scorned. But you know what? They need to put an amendment to that. It's not hath no fury like a woman scorned just in romantic relationships, even by another woman. She will go to her grave wanting to see you fail.
This is going to trigger a lot of women. And if it triggers you, that means it was meant for you. I don't avoid the truth just because someone's ego is not ready to take it. A lot of women proudly say I have standards, but what they really mean is I want a man who gives me everything while I give the bare minimum. You want a man who's emotionally mature, financially stable, loyal, masculine, emotionally intelligent. While you can't handle accountability, you don't know how to communicate, you expect him to read your mind. You don't want a partnership. You want a provider, a therapist, a mind reader, all in one man. You demand emotional maturity where you get defensive the moment you're called out. You want consistency, but chase men who give you anxiety because chaos feels exciting. You say you want a masculine leader, but reject anything that requires you to show up feminine. You call it high standards, but it's really just entitlement. Standards aren't about what you demand from others. Standards are about what you demand from yourself. If you want emotional maturity, heal your triggers. If you want consistency, stop entertaining inconsistency. If you want depth, stop showing up shallow. If you want leadership, be someone worth leading. And that's why you keep getting hurt. Not because good men don't exist, but because you're not the woman your ideal man would choose. Build your standards on your character, not fantasies. Because when you call entitlement empowerment or feminism, it's not confidence, it's delusion.
Whenever women come online and complain about the level of attractiveness of the men that they themselves are attracting, I automatically assume it's rage bait. Because there's no way you lack that much self-awareness to think that you are so grand and above and beyond these petty little men that try and speak to you on a daily basis. Most men shoot where they think they're gonna score. Let's start there. So if a man is a 5, he's probably going to shoot for other 5s, 6s, 4s, maybe a 7 if he's feeling lucky. Most 5s are not going to shoot for 10s unless they feel like shooting for the moon one day. But on a day-to-day, most men are shooting where they think they're going to score. And yes, he looked at you and said, yeah, that girl's probably on my level. She might say yes to me. And if that offends you, feel free to look in the mirror and change some things. And we have to remember that we are not the ones that set our place in the dating market. We have this idea that we are all 10s out of 10s because I said I'm a 10, so I'm a 10. And that's not up to you. It's actually up to the men. And feel free to ask one to see where you rank, because those ones that are coming online and just asking random men, they are getting comments filled with things that are going to make them very insecure in the future. And I don't wish that on my worst enemy. So ask a trusted male friend, would you?
Here's the top 3 reasons that woman ain't dealing with low effort men in 2026. Number 1, she ain't got time for it no more. She ain't got time for your texts that no longer land anywhere. Those acronyms you seeing, you don't even spell out the whole word. You seeing WYD every single day. She ain't got time for that. She ain't got time for these empty questions, these hangouts that never happen, these plans that are never made. She ain't got time for that anymore, because you know why? Number 2, she's making time for more qualified men. Men that actually want her. Men that know how to hold a conversation, know how to ask her on a date, know how to set a time that's assertive, that let her know that she is desired, appreciated, and respected. Because here's the thing, all that low effort stuff, that let's just hang out, let's just chill, why don't you come over here, to a qualified woman, start to feel like disrespect. It's disrespectful that you don't feel like she's worth a date. Come on, let's just kick it. She ain't kicking it no more in 2026. And number 3, and most importantly, she'd rather invest that time on herself. She ain't low effort for herself. She high effort. She high effort in her maintenance, her self-care, her education, her work, her time. Everything she do is intentional. So what she look like spending time with your unintentional ass? I guess what I'm saying is, in 2026, if you ain't bringing high effort, don't step at all. Because she ain't got time for it no more in this new year.
Yeah, you're lying. These modern women, they'll do that for a little bit. I want to kick it. I want to take care of myself, yada, yada, yada. They're going to do that for a little bit. But modern women, one thing they're not able to do, which is why you have shows full of drama. You have reality TV shows, Love Island and 90 Day Fiance and stuff like that. Because these are drama filled, and modern women are not able to mind their business. They're not able to mind their business. And so instead of me just sitting back and, just taking it easy, I'm going to be in a man's face. Maybe not in his face because that's too thirsty. but I'm going to be doing things to try to attract him because that's what I'm looking for. You know, I have these toys at the house and, you know, they work and they do their thing, but I'm looking for, if only for one night, Luther Vandross, the touch of a man. That's what I need right now. And it could be any man. And, you know, honestly and truly, I might not be comfortable with that, but if I get a few drinks in me, I think I'll be okay. Not so much, though, that I don't go home with an ugly guy and wake up in the morning next to a bridge troll. But, you know, if that guy from across the bar, across the ways, come talk to me, he can get it tonight. If Chad and Tyrone from across the way, if they come and talk to me, they can get it tonight. And it happens a lot more often than you think it does. That's why you have single mothers out there, because they're sleeping with the same few men, right? And I say the term few loosely because it's a lot more men out there, obviously, but it's a percentage of men that a lot of these ladies are sleeping with. A lot of these ladies are being involved with. Of course, Chad and Tyrone, they don't want a baby, so they're going to go out there and you have to raise a baby. That's something that you just have to do. So no, you know, they're not going to mind their business for too long.
Yo, not even being the Red Power Ranger could save you from these birds.
What is this woman talking about? His shoes cost more than her makeup.
I am a tattoo artist. I am a Power Rangers actor. I'm the Red Ranger for Power Rangers Mythos Wars. Stunt choreographer, MMA fighter, and I play football as well.
Wow.
Damn.
I'm not a real big fan of the dreads and the ends with the red.
Oh, with the
yeah.
That's it's kind of my staple because like all of my peoples know my colors are red, black, and gold. So they know me from my red dreads and my Power Ranger helmet. So that's why.
Wait, did they just release the show or are they?
It just got finished casting and we're shooting in June.
Eyebrow slit in the 2 different colors.
Okay. Well, so for one of those, the eyebrow, my stylist did that.
Oh.
She thought it would be a stylist.
Why'd you let it happen?
What if it wasn't my decision?
Well, you let it happen. Again, impulsive.
Agents, contract, stylist.
Oh, it was for the role.
Yes, it was.
Okay, you didn't lead with that. Now I feel bad.
Homie does MMA, tattoos. Above all, he's the Red Power Ranger. Are you kidding me? Got his own stylist, got all this going, and all these chicks don't hear none of that. They go, oh, I'm not digging, the red tips on the dreads. Yo, my dreads define who I am, for real. Like, the most important thing to you, bird brain, is my hair or my shoes, and then not even being knowledgeable. Like, imagine if a shorty has some real expensive, heels on, and you were like, those heels or whatever, and she's like, nah, yo, these heels cost, $2,000-$3,000. Like, what you talking about my heels? And obviously, he ain't gonna say nothing like that to her, but she don't even know what them shoes cost. And then he's telling them, yo, I got a stylist, it's contracted, this is what I do. And to them, they're like, nah, not enough. Yo, hypergamy is crazy in these chicks. Entitlement. Like, I just don't understand. There's almost nothing you can do to make these chicks happy. And then shows like Pop the Balloon, I get it. They get a lot of views and but you're not gonna find love on this shit. At some point, I'm starting to think this is all for show and clout, but nevertheless, it's here. Being the Red Ranger will not save you. Yo, I'm telling you, you could have all your friends, be Power Rangers, you could be an X-Men, and it still wouldn't be enough for Shorty to be like, nah, I'm not digging the fit. So don't mess with these bird brains. Try to get you some traditional. Don't get you some chick with a big following and none of that, trying to get show and clout and get mad validation. Do you be a king? And that's it. Not even being the Red Power Rangers enough these days.
Biggest lies couples believe about marriage.
Number one, if it's real love, it should be easy. Not. Real love, you taking 2 imperfect people trying to merge as one, and ain't nothing about that easy.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Here's one. The right person. If I just marry the right person, they'll automatically understand me. Not. Okay? Mm-hmm. People understanding each other comes from the work that the 2 people put in to understanding the person. Signing the papers ain't making that happen, okay? It's the work you're doing behind closed doors.
Another one, people believe that marriage is 50-50.
Yeah, a lot of people believe that.
Now, it depends on the season, you know what I mean? Marriage can be 90-10, 60-40. Sometimes she might carry me on her back. Other times I might carry on my back. It's all a give and take relationship. It ain't the same as 50-50 all the time.
Yeah. A lot of people think when you arguments means that you're like the marriage is having tons of problems. Like, that's not true, right? Arguments, disagreements is a part of growth. It takes two mature adults to learn how to sit down and work through those problems. And if you avoid those hard conversations, you're going to do more damage in your relationship. You can believe that. Okay, so you got to learn how to work through it.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Last thing, just a little bonus. A lot of people think like we get married, all our problems is going to go away. Not, okay? Those problems just become bigger problems when you become married. So the only way those problems are going to go away is the two of you sitting down, making a conscious decision of how important your relationship is to you, and you're going to put in the work, right? Nothing in life worth having comes easy, right? If marriages was easy, everybody would have wonderful marriages.
Everybody.
So you and your partner have to make a conscious decision of where that relationship ranks and the time and energy you're going to put in it to make it a success.
That's right.
So these are just things that people believe about marriage that ain't true. All right? Just our 2 cents. Deuces.
That's right.
We're about to go on a family walk, so this is the outfit today. Linebacker.
Yeah, you look like a linebacker.
Desmond doesn't understand fashion.
If that is, I don't want to understand.
Anyway, I do. Desmond did my shoes completely wrong, but that's okay. It's supposed to like loop at the back and then go to the front. Anyway, so let me show you all my...
Everyone on the internet is going crazy because Desmond cheated on Christy, and they are saying, how could she? She is so beautiful. They were the most beautiful power couple. But I wanted to show you in this video that beauty is not enough. I am not in any way saying that it's okay for Desmond to cheat on Christy, but I want to give you a perspective, because if we're only saying things like, it doesn't matter how beautiful I am, all men are going to cheat on me, or, you know, you can't trust men, that's the narrative that is being put out by scenarios like this when a man cheats on a beautiful woman. But we actually have to look deeper on the dynamic and what's actually happening. People saying that she can't handle her success, that is not true, because you can see through the whole years that they've been posting, he's been so supportive, and a big part of her videos blowing up is because of his reactions and him being part of it and being funny. If you look back at the videos, in the videos, he does not look intimidated by her. He looks over it. He looks emotionally checked out, and he looks like he does not want to be there. And again, it has nothing to do with her looks, because she's so beautiful. It has to do with how she treats him, how she makes him feel, and she does not make him feel respected, admired. When she was tying his shoes, she was saying, you tied my shoes wrong. The man was in the floor for like 3 minutes tying her shoe. In the beginning, she said, you don't get fashion. I know that this may seem blameless, it might seem like she's just being funny, but to a man, this just comes at constant criticism and judgment, which makes him feel disrespected. Men feel love through respect and admiration, and through these little jabs that seem like jokes, he actually just feels disrespected, not loved, and it made him emotionally checked out, and that's probably what led to him cheating, which again, I am not condemning, but he emotionally checked out, cheated, and now the relationship is over. This is why beauty is only the top to attracting high quality men. If you actually want a healthy marriage, you have to work on yourself to actually know how to respect and love a man properly, and then choose a man that also knows how to love and respect you, because that's the only way that you will both feel respected and loved in a relationship and actually be able to keep a healthy long-term marriage long-term.
In the Bible, it says, let me get preachy on you guys. Proverbs 21:19 says, it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. And basically, it's better to be homeless. You'll have more peace homeless on the side of a road than in a house with a woman who don't respect you, who's fighting with you and, you know, not respecting your space. That's very bad. It's very stressful. And that stress will ultimately you if you're not careful. Not if you're not careful. Stress will you. When you stressed out, your blood pressure high, which fucks with your heart. If fucks with your kidneys. It fucks with your digestive system, causes indigestion, which in turn causes heartburn. And the more you get of that, it causes inflammation of the stomach and all type of inflammation. Stress is bad. And when a woman is stressing you out, that's literally, you might as well smoke cigarettes. In order for a woman to love you, to submit to you, she has to respect you. Women are not going to be submissive to a man she does not respect. Women can't love you unless she respects you first. With women, respect comes first and then love. You have to establish the respect, and you have to establish that very, very at the gate. You have to establish your respect, and it starts small. It starts small, like showing up to a date late, getting an elevated tone, calling you out your name. That's where it starts. And if you don't fix it, it's going to grow. When a woman loses that respect for you, it's a wrap, because it gets worse.
And a lesson is to be learned with the man that went on the Pop the Balloon show, and they were talking about, a lot of them talking about the fashion and this and that, and they really don't understand fashion. My stylist did this, and a lot of times, and this is it's a different world, because a lot of us would be like, man, why are you wearing that? Modern women would expect a man to understand it. If it were them, they would expect a man to understand that and be okay with that. Well, you guys don't know fashion. You tell me you ain't never been to Hollywood. You ain't never done this. You ain't never done that. They'll say that to a man. But now when a man is saying that to them, hey man, I'm on the new Power Ranger show. Also, I do MMA and I do a few other things. They don't understand that now. Now that they've found a man, oh man, I don't like the colors. It's for the show. That's how people, have a following. That's how they identify me, right? It's quirky, but it might not be for everybody, but that's how they identify me. That's how I make my money. It's my identity. It's my brand, right? That's what y'all are doing when y'all go get your BBLs. That's what you're doing when you're doing your mommy makeover because you hadn't had 10 kids. That's what you're doing when you get that little, breast augmentation. That's what you're doing. You're making sure that my brand is me showing my behind. But because I didn't have kids or I didn't hit the wall, then everything's looking a little saggy. I got to go get that fixed, or else these people are not going to book me anymore. You understand then, but you don't understand now.
I've given up dating and pursuing women, and I think more men should do the same. I haven't given up out of hopelessness. I've given up out of clarity. And no, it's not because I'm gay. This isn't a coming out video, but that'd be really funny if it was. I've deleted the apps. I've stopped chasing, and instead I've become completely obsessed with building the life that I actually want to live. My music, my businesses, my health, my home, my son, my purpose, the things that actually set my soul on fire. And here's what I've realized. That obsession brings me more fulfillment than any relationship ever has. I wake up genuinely excited about what I'm building, and there's something that feels so deeply right about a man who knows exactly what he's here to do and just does it. So that's the work right now. Not becoming perfect, just focused on being whole, because the version of me that I'm embodying doesn't need a woman to feel complete. I'm already full. So when I meet someone next, I want there to be zero part of me looking for her to fulfill something in me. No neediness, no quiet desperation dressed up as romance. I want to show up already overflowing, and whatever we share is just extra. It's a bonus, pure joy on top of an already great life. That's the kind of love I actually want to experience. And I believe you can only really have that when you've done the work on yourself first. So that's exactly where I'm at. My focus is on being the best me, and I trust that the rest will follow.
Oh no, I just had to leave out this restaurant and come back to my car because I need a moment of clarification. Mind you, I'm on a date right now and I'm with this girl. We get here. Let me give you a little rundown. I just watched this girl order a mountain of unhealthy decisions. I'm talking about extra cheese, extra slices, bacon, and more, right? We get the drinks. We go over to the fountain. She's trying to get a refreshment. She looks at the refreshment. She goes, fills it up, does a taste test, hits it, says this is flat. I don't like this. She asks the people to refill the Coke Zero. They tell her that the Coke Zero isn't going to be refilled till tomorrow. They're sorry. There's something wrong with the machine. They should have put out something. She looks at the machine, doesn't want any other refreshment. No water, no juice, no air, no ice, nothing. She goes back to the counter asking for a refund as if this was a team investment. Why the f you asking for my money back? I still want my food. Anyways, I start to get heated because she's going back and forth with the cashier, acting as if this is a debate. I'm getting a little uncomfortable. I leave to the car. I told her I'll be right back. I'm gonna grab something, like I left something in here. I'm not going back. Because if Coke Zero has you this far in your emotions, I'm not built for what the happens when you got a real life problem. All right, God, I gotta quit using hands, bro.
We're gonna ourselves for you to get what you want. I die a slow whenever I hear women say that they can't submit. Submit does not mean to give up. It means to give over.
Oh, I love that.
And the problem with most people and that word, they don't understand that it's the highest form of teamwork. I submit to my wife all day. She sets everything in the house. The thermostat, the sleeping arrangement, what side we sleep on, physical touch, the schedule, the food, everything that moves our house, my wife sets.
And are you okay with that?
We're together for 28
You're okay
years.
with that?
So the entire day, I'm submitting to my wife.
Yep.
So I expect her, hello, every single one of you women who got your faces up.
Let's hear this.
I expect her to submit to my provision about specific areas because I submit to her all day. It's a dance. You already tell me what kind of woman you are spiritually when you tell me that you can't submit to your man. First of all, you chose him. So that's not a him problem. That's a you problem. Because you chose him. If you tell me that you can't submit to me when all I do all day, every day is submit to you, we submit to the comfort of our wives all day, every day. That's the way it's supposed to be.
is.
So now it should be a dance.
Early on in our relationship, we both had to learn what that word meant.
Yes. We're submitting to each other. We're submitting to the mission.
All right, short king. Where do you consider that?
How tall are you?
5'7".
I'm 5'6".
I hate when short men are referred to as short kings. King to who? Snow White's dwarfs? Huh?
You can get such a hot guy if he's short, like on discount, okay? Like,
This morning I got on Facebook and saw there was a girl from my hometown who put a post up that said, "Good morning to everybody except all the men under 6 foot." And all of her homegirls got on there and they thought it was funny and they started tagging guys and the guys were coming on there and they were just being cool. They were being like, aha, funny, haha. But the girls were having the time of their life. They thought that was funny. I said, that is kind of funny. I could be funny too. So I just swooped in there and put a comment in there and I said, "Good morning to everybody except all the girls over 160 pounds. I don't know why they're tripping. I thought we were just being funny this morning. But I said, you know what? Maybe they didn't get that one. Let me try again. So I hopped back in the ring and put one more comment and said, "Good morning to everybody except all the girls with multiple baby daddies." Now they're in my DMs about it. Listen, the big broke girls with multiple baby daddies are going to leave those short kings alone this year. I'm not having it. Bro cannot help that he is 5'7". You could eat less and stay off your back. You all better find something safe to do this year.
You're being mean. Stop it.
Everybody wanted to know where the good men are, but let me just explain to you what's stopping these good men from getting with you. This idea that a man should come along and take you as you are. He should accept you for who you are, how you feel, how you think, what you do, and he shouldn't question that. He should embrace it, right? That's what you want. But that man wasn't good enough to be with you, to get with you, until he did all the work. He had to become this amazing provider, which means he needed to put in extra work and effort towards his career, maybe his education. Maybe he had to really put in the work for a grind, whatever he was doing. But until he can provide a lavish lifestyle, you didn't think he was worth much of anything. You want to make sure that you have a man who's making solid, sound decisions. You want him to stay far away from all these girls in these streets where he can get somebody pregnant and have all these children out of wedlock, because you want to be the woman who comes along for this perfect man, right? But you don't want to do any work. Do you know why your grandmothers back in the day were able to get these men when they were young? That's because they spent their entire life being raised and taught how to be a good woman, how to make sound decisions, what men cared about. See, we frown upon that now. You call it misogynistic. But no matter what name you put on these things, it's not going to change that you can't control what a man is going to find attractive and what a man is going to pursue. You just can't. So you have two choices. Get on board and start putting in the work now, or be okay being single. The choice is always yours.
My friend of 4 years just ended our friendship over a man. I'm gonna tell you the story. This is literally what I said. Where did y'all go for y'all anniversary? And she goes, oh, we just went out to dinner. He got me flowers and some jewelry. And I was like, she was like, don't start. And now I'm gonna start. And we all need to start starting with our friends who are accepting like low effort.
She wanted her friend's man. That's why she was trying to plant those negative thoughts in her friend's mind. And the friend noticed that. And that's why she cut her off. Because for their anniversary, this man bought her jewelry, got her flowers, and took her out to dinner. She's making it seem like he did some low effort. When did that become low effort? Flowers, jewelry, and dinner? And that's low effort? And that's really rich, calling that low effort from someone who's single, who's not getting anything from anybody. The friend saw right through her and did the right thing and cut her off. Because when you're in a healthy relationship, sometimes single women will try to break up your relationship. One, either they want to have more time with you or they want what you have.
If a woman says to you, get away from me, leave me alone. Guys think that she's a guy. So they think she means leave me alone. What she really means is chase me and prove to me you love me. Ladies, if that's true, make some noise. So I understand in a masculine, logical world, if a guy says, leave me alone, you leave him alone. Because that's what he wants. But a woman tells you something, just know usually it means the opposite of what she's saying.
Be careful with a man who's keeping you confused of where you stand with him in a relationship. Because his main focus is not to be committed to you. It's to have access to you. A real man will give you clarity. There's no confusion there. He knows what he wants and he'll show you that he needs you. Because when a man is confusing you, it's always part of the plan. Because he just wants the benefits of having you without the responsibility of fully choosing you. And see, the thing is, you know what you're doing. You're giving her just enough to stay, but never enough to feel secure with you. You're keeping things casual just so that you can move freely and do what you want to do without being held accountable. But see, a woman will tolerate confusion until she realizes it's costing her peace. And the moment she gets tired of questioning her place in your life, she'll stop asking questions altogether. She'll pull back and choose herself. And by the time you try to finally be clear with her because you ran out of options, she's already clear that she deserves better than you.
You know, these modern women, and this is exactly the reason that they can't get men, good men anyway, is, you know, going back to what Neil was saying, you call a date low effort because it doesn't reach a certain monetary threshold. I honestly think that there are some dates that you could probably exchange with one of these ladies if the value is over like $200 and something or $500, just depending on what quote unquote tier she's in. You can exchange it for monetary value. Like, say, for instance, if you get her into a football game, but that's not just, you know, any football game. It's got to be a game where we have really good seats, like courtside seats or something like that. Otherwise, I would want the money, right? Maybe we have backstage passes or an ability to like watch the players go by, and she might not touch the players today, but she's hoping maybe I can catch their eye, and then they're like, oh, who is that girl? And then somebody comes back out and gets me. Modern women are always looking for a chance. And so if, you know, maybe I didn't get the dinner, but I caught his eye. Somebody came back, pulled me out of the crowd, and I got to meet, just as an example, Klay Thompson or one of these other NBA stars or NFL stars, right? So they're always looking for an opportunity to get up on you. If you don't provide that opportunity, well, let's go out to dinner for $500. And so I can still stun on the gram and say, I got a $500 dinner. You know, I'm winning at life. He buys me pasta and lobster and stuff like that. That's really all they're looking for. These modern women, like I said, they wonder why they can't find a good man. It's because you're looking to be a gold digger.